Adrian posted screenshots of my chasing him chat history in his boys' group chat. Come look at this simp. They ripped me to shreds. I added the guy who mocked me the hardest. Later, at a get-together, Adrian pulled the same stunt and tried to humiliate me in public, only for that guy to step in and shield me. Adrian's face went dark. What the hell is that supposed to mean? Valentine's afternoon, our dorm room was buzzing. Girls were doing their makeup, swapping outfits, getting ready for dates. I was the only one hugging a half-finished bag of chips, propping my tablet up, and binge-watching a show. Chloe changed outfits for what felt like the millionth time and still wasn't satisfied. She drifted over to my closet. Tess, this dress is gorgeous. It was a plum red bodycon mini, tight, daring, the kind that flirted without trying. I picked it the moment Adrian and I planned dinner for tonight, a month ago. Chloe tilted her head. No one asked you out tonight. When I didn't answer, her mouth curled. Adrian's ignoring you again, huh? The second she said his name, the others looked over like it was instinct. Adrian was always the center of attention, handsome, top of the class, the kind of person life seemed to hand wins to like it was nothing. Dating too. Guys like him grew up adored, they never lacked bold, pretty girls volunteering themselves. And me? I was just the neighbor kid who'd gone to the same schools as him from elementary, all the way through college. I had proximity on my side, but that was where my script ended. I checked my phone. The pinned chat at the top had no new notifications. If I didn't text first, he never did. By 9:30, I'd finished the whole season. The dorm room was empty, except for me. Chloe had smeared a bit of foundation on the sleeve of the plum red dress. I crouched down, carefully dabbing at it. It wouldn't come off. As if it mattered. Right then, my phone rang. An unfamiliar number, except I recognized it instantly. I'd never saved it, like that would stop me from caring. But I'd memorized it a long time ago. Hello. I picked at a frayed edge of a hanger to keep my hands busy. He chuckled first, like he could hear the hurt I was trying to swallow, and coaxed, "Wanna come out?" The teasing lift at the end, that lazy, casual tone, he always used. So he did remember. It's 9:30, I said. And? He asked. Do you always invite me last minute? Adrian, that's rude. I forced a laugh. What, did someone cancel on you, so you are settling for me? I kept my voice light, but my chest went tight waiting for his reaction. Silence. Long enough that I thought the call had glitched. I reached to switch to cellular data, then realized he'd hung up on me. In our chat, after my long wall of messages, he'd only replied to the last 2 lines. Adrian, whatever. Don't come, then. I am not begging. My fingers automatically typed, I was joking. I stared at the words, then deleted them. I'd waited all night. He could drop me in a second. In the end, I wrote, "Are you mad?" Sent. He replied instantly, "Can't you tell?" He wanted me to fold, like always. I replied instantly too, then stay mad. And I blocked him. Then I opened my vocab app. Men. Please. I am about to grind 100 words. 2 hours later, right as I was finishing, Adrian called again. Hungry? No, I said flatly. Come downstairs. I brought you food. I leaned out the window. Sure enough, his black sedan was parked outside the dorm. He wore a sharp, structured coat, leaning lazily against the driver's side door. Like he knew exactly where I'd be, he looked up at my window, lifted an eyebrow, smiled, and raised a steaming container of seafood congee. The same thing I'd bought him when he had a fever. On the stairs, 2 girls who'd just come back from outside passed me. Isn't that Adrian Cole from the med school? Who? The super handsome one, by the entrance. I saw a video of him on campus TikTok once. I pushed open the dorm's front door and reached for the bag. His fingertips pinched it. It wouldn't budge. Give me your phone. He held out his other hand. No, I let go of the bag, and turned to go back inside. He caught my wrist with one hand, and before I could react, fished my phone out of my pocket. I lunged for it. What are you doing? You don't even know my pass. He unlocked it. What about you do? I not know. His smile deepened. Steadying me with one arm, he tapped a few times, and unblocked himself. Easy to find, since his chat had been pinned. Easy to guess, since my password was his birthday. He knew. Of course he knew. Here, he said, placing the warm bag into my arms. Eat before you sleep. I swear I am raising you like livestock. I lifted my eyes to his. Adrian, Adrian. The name came at the exact same time from behind him. I looked past his shoulder and saw Chloe in the front passenger seat. She opened the door, cheeks a little pink. Did I fall asleep? You didn't even wake me. Adrian released my wrist and smiled at her. You were out cold. I figured I'd let you rest. Chloe hopped out and came over, linking her arm through mine. Our club did an escape room today. I didn't expect Adrian to show up too. He dropped me off since it was on the way. Her eyes flicked to the congee in my hands, and she pouted playfully. It's your fault this seafood congee is so good. I ate on the ride back and got sleepy. So he took Chloe to eat and happened to bring me leftovers. Chloe's stomach wasn't great, he said, catching my look. So I took her to get something light. I smiled. Thanks. I am going back up. Tess, wait. Chloe gripped my elbow, stopping me, but turned to Adrian instead. Can I get your Instagram? I'll Venmo you for tonight. I followed her gaze to him. The bag strap dug a red line into my hand. Adrian shrugged with a careless smile. Sure. And right before he said it, he glanced at me. Chloe finally let go of my arm and started adding him. A strange relief flooded me. Have fun chatting, I said. Then I walked upstairs without looking back. Chloe lifted my bed curtain. Tess, you are not mad, right? I mean, you are not Adrian's girlfriend. She was right. I had no claim. You like Adrian? I asked bluntly. Her eyes darted away. Not like that. It was just, on the way. She nodded toward the congee on my desk. Why didn't you eat it? We bought it for you. There was a little complaint in her voice. I am not hungry. I reached to pull the curtain closed. She caught it. Tess, did you know Adrian has a boys' group chat? My hand paused. I didn't. Ryan's in it too, she added, and shoved her phone in front of my face. He sent me this screenshot a few days ago. It was a capture of their chat. I recognized Adrian's profile immediately. Those days, he'd had a fever. I'd taken care of him for a full week. When he finally got better, I got hit with a brutal cold, bones aching so badly, I could barely get out of bed. I'd messaged him, asking him to grab me some porridge. He never replied. Instead, he forwarded our chat history to his boys. My messages filled the screen, line after line of me. Adrian, come look at this simp. She won't stop. I am sick of it. Does she seriously think she's my girlfriend? The group tore into me. Ryan, LMAO. Which one is this, like your third this week? No simp, she's down catastrophically. You two, don't match at all. Does she not know her place? Just because she's known you forever, she thinks she can pressure you into it. Got a pic? Let me see what she looks like. Ryan immediately posted a super blurry photo, still enough to make out the outline. No simp, meh. Looks like the scheming type. Wouldn't touch it. Adrian, Ryan, where'd you get her photo? Ryan, probably from a club event. Forgot. Adrian, delete it. Ryan, too late. Time limit passed. You care now. The screenshot ended there. He really doesn't like you, Tess, Chloe said, pulling her phone back. I am just saying, you should have some self-awareness. I asked, who's no simp? She blinked, thrown by my sudden calm. Oh, Adrian's roommate. Landon. Do you have his Instagram? Yeah. She frowned. Why do you want him? Late at night, the dorm rustled with occasional turning in bed. I opened my phone, changed my passcode, unpinned Adrian's chat. Then I added Landon. No simp, who are you? Me, Tessa. No simp, why are you adding me? Because of Adrian. Not helping you. Me, it's not that. No simp, then what? Unadd me. Me, Landon, has anyone ever told you, you are, special? No simp, no, me, you are different from everyone else. No simp, sis, what are you doing? Just say it. Me, I've been close to Adrian all these years for one reason. No simp, because you like him. Me, because I want to sleep with you. He flatlined. For minutes, the status kept switching between typing and silence. Long enough that I was about to fall asleep when my phone buzzed. A message from Adrian. Adrian, cover my attendance for my 8 a.m. elective. Science Hall 801. He always ordered me around, like he'd decided I'd be in love with him forever. For the 8 a.m. elective, Chloe and I ended up in the same class. More accurately, she picked the same one as Adrian, and when I was fighting for a spot during registration, she stood right beside me, watching my screen the whole time. "Tess," she said, scanning my face like she was appraising a product, "did you get Landon to talk to you last night?" She clicked her tongue. Too bad his Instagram never has selfies. No idea what he even looks like. But guys who never post selfies are usually ugly. Probably, that kind of ugly. She casually pointed at some random guy in the room, then turned back to me and laughed softly. "Honestly, he'd actually suit you." Right as she finished, a male voice came from my other side. "Hey, can you scoot in a seat?" Chloe rolled her eyes, annoyed, until she saw him clearly. Tall in a way that felt invasive, with sharp, deep-set eyes, and a don't-come-near-me aura that could freeze a room. There were plenty of open seats, but Chloe still made space for him anyway. She craned over me, trying to flirt. "Are you in this class too?" "Yeah." Cold. Minimal. But his gaze lingered on my face for a beat. "What's your name?" Chloe asked, bright-eyed. "The one you said was ugly," he replied, calm as water. "Landon." Chloe's lips puckered into a tiny pout. She immediately grabbed her stuff, and relocated 3 rows forward, like she'd just sensed a predator. "Nice to meet you, Tessa," Landon said, pulling out his textbook and setting it down on the narrow desk so close it brushed my notebook. He raised a brow, voice pitched like he was ready to throw hands. "So, last night, what was it you said you wanted to do to me?" I smiled, slid my notebook away, and kept a polite distance. He copied my smile. "I knew it. You are using me to get to Adrian." "Absolutely not." I denied it. He looked at me like I was something stuck to his shoe. "You think you are even in the same league? Adrian would never go for a girl who only has romance in her eyes. And anyway," his brow ridge sharpened, certainty set like stone. "I have principles. You really think I'd fall for a move that cheap? Is that so?" I shot back. The attendance sheet got passed down the row to me. I skipped over Adrian's name, and only signed my own. When I handed it to Landon, my fingers brushed his. He flinched like a cat that got splashed. Radiating the kind of aggressive personal boundary energy that screamed lifelong single. He cleared his throat. "Why didn't you sign for Adrian? So upright. So moral. What a shame." I wanted to drag him into the mud with me. "Because you are sitting next to me," I said, flashing him a grin. He avoided my eyes and stared at the lectern like it was a courtroom. "Here," I said. "Borrow my pen." He grabbed it too quickly, scribbled Adrian's name with a hint of panic in the stroke. His handwriting was annoyingly nice. "Your name isn't even on the attendance sheet." I tilted my head and looked straight into his eyes. "So did you come here just to see me?" He snapped back instantly, drawing a bright line between us. "I came to warn you." "Oh." I held out my hand. "Then can I have my pen back?" The pen looked like a live grenade in his fingers. He returned it immediately. I cradled it in my palm, admiring it like a museum piece. "What are you doing?" He couldn't help asking. "This is the first pen we've ever used together," I said solemnly. "I am keeping it." The second class ended, Landon bolted without looking back. I dropped my smile, packed up slowly, and when I passed the lectern, I handed the attendance sheet to the professor. "Could I borrow your pen for a moment?" The professor took the sheet and rummaged through the chalk and erasers, looking for one. I offered mine. "Here, keep it. I have a bunch." Outside the classroom, I leaned against the wall and pulled out my phone. I switched to a burner account, made it look like a guy's profile, and added Landon. "No simp, who are you?" The words were more guarded than last night. "Dog trainer, science, hall 801, 8 a.m. I got a pic of you holding Tessa's hand in class." "No simp, I barely touched her once. It wasn't on purpose." "She did it." "No, not like that. Anyway, I didn't do it on purpose." A few minutes later. "No simp, how much to delete it?" Then he sent me a .100 Venmo transfer. I didn't accept it. "Dog trainer, you and Adrian have a group chat." "No simp, how do you know that?" "Dog trainer, add me." "No simp, that's our boys' chat. Why would you even want in?" "Dog trainer, I am in love with Adrian." I made up the dumbest excuse on earth. He added me to the boys' chat. Then he DM'd me again, like he had to cleanse his soul. "No simp, delete the photo. I would rather die than hold her hand. I didn't reply. I switched back to my main account. The moment I opened it, Adrian's messages popped up. Adrian, signed. Wanna go camping this weekend? Before I could answer, Chloe messaged me too. Chloe, not cliché, Adrian asked me to go camping. OMG. Should I say yes? Adrian was always like this. He'd invite someone else, first, then throw me a bone after, like I was his failsafe option, the one he could always count on not to leave. But now, I wanted him to taste it. Weekend, camping. Everybody there was Adrian's friend. Chloe cut in front of me and slid into Adrian's passenger seat. Sorry, Tess, she said sweetly. I am just used to riding with Adrian. If it's someone else's car, I get carsick. The back seats were already full. Adrian glanced over, like it was nothing. Then go with Landon. Yeah, Chloe added, blinking at me. You two can chat. Since you were adding him late at night and all. You added him? Adrian caught the keyword instantly. Ryan, lounging in the back, smiled, and looked at me. What, got a new target now? Adrian's expression twitched, just a second, something sharp and strange. Then he went right back to his usual easy swagger and called toward the other car, Landon, she's your problem now. Keep an eye on her. Then he shut the passenger door for Chloe, click, clean, final, blocking any chance of me getting into his car. We're friends, he said low, like he was doing me a favor. Don't say I never gave you an opportunity. And he physically nudged me toward Landon. Landon, on the other side, looked at me like I was a liability. Sorry, he said coolly. I don't give rides to strange women. No hesitation. No mercy. The whole group burst out laughing. I stood there alone in the middle, like the one person nobody wanted to claim. Chloe laughed the loudest. What are you laughing at? Landon said, pointing at her. You don't get a ride either. Chloe's smile died instantly. Who wants to ride with you? Oh, he said, blunt as a hammer. You sure lunged for the passenger seat fast. Ryan stepped in to smooth it over, gave me his back seat spot, and climbed into Landon's car himself. On the highway, Chloe and Adrian laughed, and chatted up front like the world was built for them. When we stopped at a service area, the boys' group chat was popping off too. Ryan, Adrian, don't bully her just because she likes you. You know she's into your type, and you still try to hand her off to Landon. Adrian and Landon weren't even in the same universe. Adrian was the charming player who treated romance like a game. Landon was blunt, arrogant, solitary, the kind of guy who didn't do detours. No one would ever naturally pair me with Landon. Dog trainer, Tessa, and Landon are made for each other. No simp. What? Ryan, who is this? When did we add a random? Dog trainer got kicked immediately by no simp. Landon DM'd my burner account right away. No simp, try that again, and see what happens. Dog trainer, I still have the hand-holding photo. I lifted my eyes toward the driver's seat of the other car. Landon sat there, calmly scrolling his phone, jawline hard, profile sharp, coldness under his eyes that his messy bangs couldn't hide. You would never guess that, in chat, he was currently sending me a kneeling dog please forgive me meme. No simp, bro. My bro. People make mistakes. Give your little brother some dignity. No simp added dog trainer back into the group chat. No simp, chill. It's just some dude. Love-stirring drama between me and Adrian. Ryan, your usernames kinda match. Relax, besides him, nobody believes it anyway. Made for each other, my ass. She'd fall for Chloe before she'd ever fall for you. No simp was silent. Adrian came back from the service area mini-mart, and handed Chloe a bag of snacks when he got into the car. Thanks, Adrian. She beamed and reached for a mango juice. That one's for Tessa. Adrian took it from her hand and shoved it into my arms like it was routine. She only drinks this flavor. Chloe's face stiffened. She forced a smile. Right. I was going to give it to her. She glanced at me, then poked Adrian's arm. Adrian, look at the group chat, it's so funny. Landon pulled some comedian in from who knows where. Adrian raised a brow, flicked through the screen with quick fingers, laughed once, and didn't think twice. The car started moving again. Chloe turned around, and whispered to me. Such a shame, you are not in that chat. You have no idea what we're laughing at. Campfire night. Chloe sat right beside Adrian, eating barbecue he fed her. I grilled a few skewers of shrimp and sat down last. Directly across from Adrian. Right next to Landon. I hadn't even settled before Landon shot up, like the seat was electrified. "Ryan, switch spots with me," he said. He didn't even glance at me. "What? I am fine here," Ryan protested, guarding his warmed-up seat. "Is there a ghost next to you or something?" Everyone looked at me. "No ghost," I said, glancing behind me, then holding out a shrimp skewer to Landon. "Unless the ghost is in your head." His jaw clenched. He sat back down, obediently, then took the shrimp. "You are the ghost." Adrian's eyes drifted to the shrimp in Landon's hand, then away. Around the fire, people gossiped and teased, and when the topic turned to relationships, someone suddenly said, "People who get all self-martyr about love are the worst. Like, being a simp and getting addicted to it. Gross." The speaker didn't mean anything by it. But the room went quiet in a very specific way. A few people looked straight at me. Chloe laughed softly, and on purpose, steered it right into my face. She asked Adrian, "You hate people like that too, right?" Adrian lifted his gaze. Between Landon and me, the gap was barely the width of a fist. "Yeah," he said evenly. "It's annoying." His lips curled, calm, and cruel. "And the tricks are always low level. Like using another guy to trigger my competitiveness. Zero creativity." He saw my intention in one glance, called it out in public, and made me the joke with nowhere to hide. The ones who understood the subtext smiled knowingly and started whispering to each other. Chloe looked pleased. She added, "Oh no, that's kind of pathetic." Here, it was again. That feeling of standing alone in the center while the crowd circled. Adrian always pushed me into it, mud up to my throat, then right before I drowned, he'd tug me out with a casual little flirt. One slap, one piece of candy. Sure enough, he stood and offered me a grilled corn skewer, my favorite. "Eat up," he said lazily. "You uncreative idiot." But the corn never reached me. Another hand intercepted it. Landon pushed Adrian's arm away from my face, decisive, clean, final. "The corn's not done," he said. Adrian's hand froze in midair. "Adrian," Landon asked suddenly, "have you ever considered that you might be the other guy?" Adrian's face sank. "What the hell are you talking about?" Landon didn't spare me even a glance, but his arm stayed between Adrian and me like a barricade. "Like, maybe she got close to you on purpose, just to get close to someone around you." Adrian laughed once, sat back down beside Chloe, and casually tossed the corn back onto the grill. "Then she'd better hope so." A new batch of skewers came out, and the group's focus shifted. People started openly shipping Adrian and Chloe, the vibe loud and festive. I quietly finished a small plate of grilled oysters, and then a heavy, wrong egg curled in my lower belly. "Last time we had congee, you said the stars out, here are amazing," Chloe said from across the fire. Adrian gave a half smile, didn't really respond, and fiddled with a skewer like his mind was elsewhere. Ryan teased, "So you two have been meeting up privately for a while, huh?" The pain dragged downward, relentless. Damn it, my period came early. It hurt so badly tears sprang up on their own. Landon flicked a glance at me. I lowered my head, pressed my cheek to my knees. No, I needed a bathroom. Over there. Adrian finally gave in to everyone's chanting and described his first love type. 8 or 9 times out of 10, it matched Chloe, almost perfectly. And it was the total opposite of me. While the crowd whooped and egged them on, I slipped away without a sound and walked over to the tent in the corner to rummage through my backpack. A shadow tall, blocking the entrance, fell over me. "Stop crying," Landon said. "I take back what I said before." I turned, tear tracks still on my face, and stared at him blankly. His brows lifted, surprised. "Oh, you really were crying." He cleared his throat. "Don't be upset. It's not that you are not good. You and Adrian just don't fit. Just, like someone else." I blinked up at him. "What?" His ears went red. "Why are you looking at me like that?" "You are really good looking," I said, honestly. In the dim tent light, the sharpness of his features softened just a little. He scowled. "Be serious." "I am not crying," I said, wiping my face. "I just got my period early, and I don't have a pad." His face went red instantly, clearly he hadn't expected me to say it that directly. Then what do you do?" he asked, lost. "Can you drive me down to buy some?" The campsite wasn't that high up. The road was clear. We could be back in about half an hour. I don't give rides to strange women. I ran my fingertips over his passenger side door, so clean it looked freshly detailed, and smiled at him. Then we just need to stop being strangers. His hand paused on the steering wheel. He turned his face away, avoiding my eyes. You've been lying to me the whole time, haven't you? Landon said. The one you've always liked was him. Yeah. Then why mess with me? Because I saw what you all said about me in your boys' chat. He froze for a beat, his peripheral vision sliding toward me. I kept my voice steady. You said I threw myself at him. You said I didn't deserve Adrian. You said I didn't know my place. All of that might be true. But I don't understand one thing. Why does loving someone seriously get you labeled a simp? I asked bluntly, does mocking someone's feelings make you feel superior? His lips pressed together. He didn't answer. Inside the car was even quieter than the night outside. The valley air was cold. His car drove smoothly and fast to a small convenience store at the foot of the mountain. I bought pads and used the store's restroom. The mountain night was dark, stretching out like spilled ink. I was in there a little too long. When I came out, Landon was leaning against a mottled, peeling wall, waiting for me, blocking the only path out. Under the flickering yellow light, he wore a black trench coat, his eyes cool, but not a trace of impatience on his face. Not many people out here, he said. Didn't want you walking alone. So he'd stood here getting eaten by mosquitoes the whole time. Back in the car, the heater blasted warm air, but my lower belly still ached heavy and deep, sweat turning cold on my back. He dug a box of painkillers out of the center console and handed it to me. Why do you even keep this in your car? I asked. Habit, he said. When he shut the console, I caught a glimpse of a bottle tucked way in the back. Sleeping pills. I peeled open the foil and set the tablets in my palm. Tessa. Landon almost never said my name like that. Serious, careful. I turned my head. Yeah. I am sorry. Guilt flashed in his eyes, and the warm dome light softened his face. Everything I heard about you, I heard from Adrian. I labeled you before I even knew you. He swallowed. You weren't throwing yourself at him. And you are not good enough for anyone. The one who didn't know his place was me. We drove back up the mountain, into the parking lot near the campsite. Landon switched on a flashlight and walked behind me. A gust of wind hit, and I shivered hard. He casually draped his black coat over my shoulders, then cleared his throat like he had to make it official. Just borrowing it to you for a minute. The coat felt absurdly nice. I couldn't help rubbing the edge between my fingers. He caught the tiny movement and warned, don't touch it. I looked up at him, and touched it again, deliberately. He grabbed my hand. Do you always like provoking people? I stared at his warm fingers around mine. Weren't you the one who said you'd rather die than hold my hand? How do you? I flipped my hand and clasped his instead. Long knuckles. Pretty hands. He short-circuited, yanked away immediately, and barked, let me make this clear again. I am not going to like you. I don't need you to like me, I said very seriously. But here is one thing I didn't lie about. What? He asked. I didn't speak. He didn't either. We held each other's gaze. The cold silence brewed, and he inevitably thought of that night, those messages that had heated the air between us. Realization hit him. His ears went red in 1 second flat. Don't even think about it. I am not like Adrian, someone who'll do anything with anyone. I am saving that for the person I'll like most in my whole life. Then he turned his face away, and in a tone that didn't match his cold aura at all, tried to negotiate. Pick a different condition. Just stop bothering me. I studied his profile for a moment, then said, change your lock screen passcode to my birthday. He went still. I added, just for tonight. You can change it back tomorrow. I smiled at him, an honest smile this time. I've liked someone for so many years, and I've never really known what it feels like to be liked back. I knew Adrian's birthday by heart. But what it felt like to be loved by him. That was the most unfamiliar thing in the world. The second I reached the sign at the entrance of the campsite, I saw Adrian standing under the moonlight. He spotted me instantly and strode over, brows drawn tight, ready to scold, until his eyes caught Landon behind me. Then his lips pressed shut, hard. Standing out here in the cold, for what? Landon asked him. Adrian's dark gaze locked on the coat draped over my shoulders. He ignored Landon completely and spoke to me. Do you ever look at your phone? I fished it out of my pocket. There were more than a dozen missed calls, all from that number I knew too well. It was on silent, I said. He stared at the string of digits, then asked something that didn't matter at all. You never saved my number. I slid the phone back into my pocket and didn't answer. The noise drew attention. People inside the camp turned to look. Where did you two go? Ryan walked over. Tess, Adrian was looking for you forever. Chloe's gaze traveled between me and Landon, then landed on Adrian's face, sharp, not gentle. Wow, Tess, she said, light as air, but heavy in intent. You really know how to grab every opportunity. Adrian's tone turned more and more aggressive. He reached for my wrist. Going somewhere without a word, not picking up calls, showing up when you want, leaving when you want. Are you seriously just gonna go off with some guy like? I took her down the mountain, Landon cut in. Stepping in front of me and blocking Adrian's hand. My phone was off. I didn't see any messages. That's on me. The second time. Adrian's hand hovered in the air, stuck. You let her ride in your car. Chloe snapped. What did you two do? Landon started, straightforward as always, then clearly remembered something and pivoted to spare me. She was cold. She sat in the car for a bit. Cold? Adrian pulled his hand back, arms folding, as he looked down with open sarcasm. With a bonfire that big right there, she had to go warm up in your car. It was my idea, Landon began. Did I ask you? Adrian cut him off, voice dropping to something almost dangerous. I am talking to Tessa. What does it have to do with you? Adrian. Landon's voice stayed calm, he lifted one brow slightly. Are you sure you are mad? She didn't answer your calls, and not mad about something else. The air went dead silent. Like one sentence pulled a plug. Adrian blinked, as if Landon had jolted him awake. He reeled his emotions in, smiled. Me? Mad? Why would I be mad? He patted Landon's shoulder. If you want to pursue someone, do it openly. Why play games behind my back? You think I wouldn't support you? Then, with absolute certainty and a trace of pity, he added. But you are going to be disappointed. I know Tessa. She doesn't like your type. He was back to being Adrian, confident, in control, like the near loss of control a second ago had never happened. Ryan saw the opening and immediately changed the subject. He looked at Landon. You seriously don't check your phone? The professor's been calling me all night. He wants you to resend the revised speech draft tonight. Landon hummed, rebooted his phone, and unlocked the screen. 72,205. His fingers were fast, it flashed by. But Adrian caught it anyway, effortlessly, with one sharp glance. My birthday. Adrian's eyes tightened. His gaze stayed on Landon's lit-up phone for a long moment, like he'd just seen evidence he didn't want to believe, but couldn't deny. Anything else? Landon asked him. Adrian, expression blank, stepped past Landon, and looked straight at me behind him. And this time, Landon understood too. That subtle, suffocating tension, no one around us noticed it, but the people inside it could feel every molecule. Nothing. Adrian pulled his gaze back, lips pressed into a hard line. The next morning, we headed back. When Chloe tried to slide into Adrian's passenger seat like usual, he waved her off. Tessa, you sit here. He shoved me in. Do navigation for me. Chloe can't. Then where am I supposed to sit? Chloe panicked. Adrian held the door frame and looked toward the other SUV, raising his voice. You ride with Landon. Didn't he say, he doesn't give rides to strange women? Chloe clung to the door. The person being mentioned was loading gear, shutting the trunk with one hand. He looked over. His gaze landed, perfectly, on me. Adrian stepped forward slightly, blocking that line of sight. If he can drive Tessa, he can drive you. You are both strange women. Chloe looked at Landon unwillingly. No, Landon said. Clean refusal. Firm posture. Adrian gave a cold laugh. So Tessa's fine. Yes. The moment the word left Landon's mouth, Adrian's face wore a polite smile. He slammed the passenger door shut, locking me in his car from the outside. Adrian, what are you doing? I smacked the window. Ryan walked over, annoyed. Can you stop? He shooed them away. All three of you, get in Landon's car. Adrian, I am driving yours. Adrian didn't move. Ryan rolled his eyes, lowered his voice. You are not right. You didn't sleep all night. Driving on the highway like this. You trying to die for love or something? In the end, We all ended up in Landon's car. I sat in the passenger seat. Adrian and Chloe sat in the back. Once we hit the highway, Landon asked me, "Still hurting?" He nodded at the center console. "Tea here, is meds. I am fine. I took one last night," I said. Adrian's hand, propping up his chin, tensed. He turned his face toward the window like he needed air. The window wouldn't budge. Landon had it locked. "Don't open windows on the highway," Landon said flatly, shutting him down in one sentence. I ignored everything, put on my headphones, and opened my vocab app. Last night's cramps almost made me fail the team challenge. Today, I had to finish early. I can waste time on anything except memorizing words. Those in-app coins aren't going to earn themselves. "Tess, you are studying vocab again." Chloe glanced at my phone. "Are you seriously entering the Spanish speech contest?" I tightened my grip on my phone and looked into the rearview mirror. Adrian was resting with his eyes closed. Back in high school, languages were always his thing. He'd been surrounded by them since he was a kid, so it came easily. In college, he kept taking first place in the foreign language speech contest, and the clip that made him go viral was from his best performance. He used to make fun of my pronunciation. Said my accent was too obvious, so I forced myself to keep studying, all the way until now. I kept trying to prove I could stand beside him at the same height. Make him see me. "No," I said. "I am not entering." "Why not?" Landon's unexpected question made Adrian open his eyes. "Why else?" Adrian's tone was familiar in an excluding way, like he still owned the topic and me. "I coached this idiot from middle school, through high school, 6 whole years, and I still couldn't fix her heavy accent." My expression changed. An old wound, ripped open in public. A fact I couldn't even argue with. Anyone would feel bad. "If 6 years didn't fix it," Landon said, tapping the steering wheel lightly with his thumb, "that sounds like the teacher's problem." "Switch teachers." Adrian scoffed. "You think you know her better than I do." "I believe in her," Landon said. I looked over. His face was calm, eyes on the road, driving steadily. But I still caught it, his ears, quietly turning red. We stopped first at Adrian's off-campus apartment building. "Ooh, can I go up and see it?" Chloe jumped out with him. Adrian didn't answer. Chloe leaned toward my window. "Tess, have you been here before? Come up with us." I had. When Adrian had a fever, I'd come to take care of him. "She even knows the door code," Adrian said, hands in his pockets, gesturing at me. "Go up. Hot pot tonight." Then he smiled at Landon. "Parking's a pain here. I won't keep you." Landon met his gaze. "Sure. Enjoy." The next second, the door locks clicked. The engine revved. Landon drove off with me, leaving Adrian behind. In the side mirror, Adrian stood where he was, shrinking farther and farther until he disappeared. After we merged onto the main road, Landon pulled over. "Sorry." He braced one hand near his face, not daring to look at me. "I just wanted to hit the gas." "It's fine," I said. I didn't want to go to his place either. He turned to me. "Do you want to go back to campus, or go eat? I can take you anywhere." I shut off my phone, and rubbed the side of my nose. "Can we go to your place?" It was because the dorm's water got shut off. My roommates texted me, said they'd already gone out, washed up, and were back. Landon was a local, his place was on the north side of town, not far from campus. We took the elevator up from the underground garage. The whole ride, in that tight glass box, we kept an almost comically wide distance and didn't say a word. Through the elevator's glass, he glanced at my hand gripping my backpack strap. "No one's home," he said. "You don't have to be nervous." The second it left his mouth, the air turned even weirder. "I mean," he rushed to explain, "you don't have to shower fast. It's just me here. I live alone." The more he explained, the stranger it got, so I cut it off before it could spiral. "I'll be quick," I said. "I'll shower and leave." He didn't speak again. His apartment was a wide-open high-rise unit with a full night view, neon floating in the distance. When I finished showering and came out, he had just made instant noodles. 2 bowls. He cleared his throat and handed me a cup of water. Somehow, in his own home, he looked more awkward than I did, like I was the resident, and he was the guest. "Why do you live alone?" I asked. 4 bedrooms, cold gray decor, the whole place feeling oddly empty. On the living room floor, computer books were stacked everywhere. I used to live with my mom, he said. My parents divorced when I was little. Then when I was in middle school, my mom went abroad for medical school. She never came back. I've lived alone ever since. My eyes landed on the only framed photo in the living room, him and his mom in front of a famous monument, her arm around a version of him who couldn't have been older than 10, both of them smiling like nothing could ever go wrong. Why didn't you go abroad with her? Because she hates me, Landon said, and smiled like he'd already forgiven it. She's actually a lot like Adrian, he went on. A genius. Everything comes easy. The kind of person at the top of the pyramid. His gaze lowered. Too bad, she married my dad. He cheated after they got married. I was 3. It hit her hard. She couldn't understand what she'd done wrong, why she should have to carry a stain like that, and get talked about behind her back. He drew his brows in slightly. So she left. To start over in her 30s, pass all those exams. She's incredible. When Landon talked about his mom, there was always pride in his eyes, gentle, with not a trace of hatred. Later, I picked the same field, he said with a small smile. I wanted her to see me. The smile thinned. But I am not built like that. I can't reach the ideal son standard in her head. She said it before, if you are not talented, effort is meaningless. No wonder he'd believed Adrian so easily at first. No wonder he'd hated me for wasting effort, trying to please Adrian. He wasn't just hating me, he was hating himself. Is that why you keep sleeping pills in your car? The question crossed a line. I knew it. But he didn't get angry. He just smiled, helpless. Not being able to sleep is miserable. 4 bedroom doors stayed shut. He treated the sofa like a bed. Refusing to let the atmosphere sink, he forced his tone lighter. When I can't sleep, I read. Look, he gestured at the piles, half joking. I've basically finished every book for the CS department. So you really like computer stuff? Yeah, he said quietly. I used to want to do cybersecurity. He looked at me, amused. Medicine was just me trying to prove something. His smile carried a bruise. The truth is, I don't have the talent. Landon, I said, I want to enter the Spanish speech contest. He raised an eyebrow. Still trying to prove yourself to Adrian? No, I held his gaze and spoke slowly, clearly. I want to prove it to myself. Effort matters. The key was choosing the right direction. Before, I wanted Adrian to see me. Now, I just wanted to be able to see myself. I'd choked in his mud more times than I could count, and I wasn't waiting anymore for a hand he might never reach out. Maybe it was the wind from camping, I caught a cold for a few days. I lay in the dorm, listening to Chloe sob and curse on the balcony. Adrian went on a club trip and didn't take her. Worse, one of her friends caught a ride with him anyway, then sent Chloe selfies in private, just to show off. I practiced my speaking with a stuffed nose, then opened my burner account. In the boys' chat, Adrian had posted a few photos, pretty girls everywhere around him. Compared to that, Landon had gone quiet, barely speaking in the group. Ryan, looks like Adrian's having fun. How come we haven't seen Tessa come looking for you these days? Adrian didn't reply. He only popped up at 3 in the morning, like a ghost. Adrian, why is she my problem? Ask no simp. At 8 a.m. Landon replied. Happy puppy, yeah. She and I are actually doing great. Ryan, since when did you change your name? What is this, dude? Adrian, good. I'll leave her to you then. Don't waste the chance. Happy puppy, she isn't an object. T here is nothing to leave or give. She just doesn't like you anymore. Then Landon left the group chat and DM'd my burner. Happy puppy, bro, send me the pics. Dog trainer, what for? Happy puppy, the first group photo. I want to save it. Dog trainer, what? Happy puppy, got a problem. I didn't even have that photo. A second later, he sent another .10 Venmo transfer. Happy puppy, hurry up. Send it. No, this sending money to strangers habit was bad. I needed to talk to him about it. My alarm went off, it was time to go to the registrar's office to sign up. I didn't reply. I rolled out of bed. On my way out, Chloe was still crying on the balcony, calling Adrian. Why did he block me? She sobbed. Adrian's interest had always been short-lived. I'd known that for years. At the registration desk, I ran into the real thing. After that camping night, Adrian and I hadn't contacted each other once. He never reached out first anyway, and I'd stopped wanting to chase his footsteps. I stood in line in front of him and handed in my form. "Scan this QR code and fill out your info," the staff member said. My ears felt clogged from the cold. I didn't catch it at first and froze. I said, "Scan the QR code." Adrian stepped closer, slipping right back into that familiar intimacy, like nothing had happened. Idiot. He did what he always did, reached into my coat pocket and pulled out my phone, ready to scan it for me. Then he realized the passcode he used to crack without thinking no longer worked. He stopped, silent. "Thanks," I said. I took my phone back, scanned the code myself, and finished the form. Once the confirmation screen showed I was successfully registered, I rushed out of the registrar's office. At the corner, someone seized my wrist from behind. The grip was hard, packed with anger that had been held down too long. "Done playing?" Adrian's tone was domineering, but his posture gave him away. He looked unsettled, almost anxious. "Adrian. Let go. Why would you mess with Landon, and then sign up for the contest? What does one have to do with the other?" I shot back. "Everything," he said. He stared straight into my eyes. "If you wanted me to pay attention to you, congratulations. You succeeded. That whole come, close, pull away trick. You did it well." He released my wrist, still looming over me, like he had the right. "Stop talking to him." "Why can't I talk to him?" "Because I can be with you." He repeated it, like he needed to hear himself say it twice. "Tessa. I can be with you." I'd liked him for so many years. Even at our most ambiguous, I never truly believed he'd choose me. It was like gambling without caring about the outcome, just wanting to dump all that uncontrollable love out of my chest as fast as possible. Lose brutally, at least get an ending. But he kept dragging it out, enjoying my devotion and refusing to sentence our relationship to anything official. And now he said he could. Barely. Like a handout. I had loved someone with sincerity and courage, and in the end, he didn't even have the courage to face it. Turns out, he was the coward. I smiled, relieved, and said calmly, "No, Adrian. I don't like you anymore." On the day of the contest, while I was waiting backstage, Landon called me. "Nervous?" he asked. "A little." The wind was sharp. I'd only just gotten over my cold, so I pulled my coat tighter. "Honestly, here is no such thing as the best accent," he said, his voice warm, like it could heat your hands. "Language is just a tool." Then he added, softer, "I think you sound really good. No matter what you speak," he said. "Even if you spoke pure nonsense, you'd still sound good." "You are the one speaking nonsense," I laughed, and the tightness in my chest eased. "Tessa." "Yeah. I submitted my paperwork to change majors," he said. "I only want to study what I actually like. I am done trying to prove anything." Then, sincere and quiet, "Thank you." I didn't answer. I just pictured the warmth in his voice, as the same warmth as his hand, that night on the mountain. "Landon," I said, "let's make a bet." "What kind?" "If I get first place, you have to agree to one condition." "Your lock screen passcode," he blurted instantly. "I haven't changed it since that night." "Not that," I said. "Okay," he agreed. And he'd learned his lesson. "Then you too." The advisor said my final grades have to climb into the top 3 in my current major for the transfer to go through, he said. "If I pull it off, will you agree to one condition of mine?" "Okay," I said. I hung up, and it was almost my turn. The speaker before me was Adrian. The applause inside sounded like thunder. A contestant beside me whispered, "He's insanely good. Thank God, I am not right after him." Imagine that pressure. I walked onto the stage and passed Adrian on the way. He lifted his eyes to me. Something unreadable flickered there. I didn't want to read it. I stood at the podium. The crowd below was a sea of faces, but the white stage lights were so bright, I couldn't see clearly. That daylight glare yanked me back to a middle school afternoon. I'd been called on in class, and forced to read from the textbook. I stumbled through it, my pronunciation clumsy, my accent obvious. The teacher cut me off, and called Adrian's name. "Adrian, you read it." He stood up lazily and read it perfectly smooth, effortless. Back then, rumors spread that I was chasing him. After he sat down, the teacher only said to me, coldly, "At your level, do you really think someone like him would ever look at you?" I was made to stand for 4 full periods. After that, I was terrified to speak a foreign language in public. But today, into the microphone, I spoke fluently, word by word, like I was finally wrapping my arms around the version of myself who'd once stood alone with nowhere to go. Adrian was still number one. I only placed fifth, nowhere near qualifying for finals. But being able to stand on that stage and speak at all was already me finishing what I'd started. On awards day, the first place winner didn't show up. He went to the same place, where I'd once bought him seafood congee, took a photo, and posted it. One lonely bowl cooling from hot to cold. No one cared, because everyone in the department was too busy, talking about how Landon had overtaken Adrian and taken first in their exams, breaking Adrian's streak. That's insane. How did he do it? I suddenly feel like I can do it too. 3 minutes of motivation unlocked. But it was a narrow win. 1 point. Bet Adrian will take it back next time. Too bad, there was no next time. A few days later, Landon successfully changed majors. After summer break, his photos occasionally popped up on the campus confession page. He'd cut his hair shorter, because of the heat, making his features look even sharper, ease, bright, and aggressive, all swagger and trouble. He didn't look easy to approach, but that face was still enough to make people ask about him. One day, he showed up on the second floor of the main academic building, arms crossed, long legs stretched out, standing shamelessly outside a classroom that hadn't even gotten out yet. People by the window whispered, "This is a pre-law classroom. What's Landon from cybersecurity doing here?" They got their answer fast, because it was obvious. His eyes never left the first row, where I sat upright, and pretending not to notice. "Dog trainer, you are way too obvious. Go wait somewhere else." "Happy puppy, I am suffering." Then he actually listened and walked away. 10 minutes later, I texted him. "Dog trainer, class is over. Sad puppy, coming." The whole walk, he chattered about what we should order for hot pot tonight. When I got into the car, I noticed the sleeping pills were gone from his console. "I also got you mango ice cream," he said, humming, and reached for my hand. The weather was clear, the road smooth, half an hour, and we'd be home.